Friday, March 19th, 1982, a staggering 36 years ago, my friends, hard rock lost one of its brightest shining stars, Randy Rhoads. He was only 25. In his short time with us, though, Randy's incredible talent and prowess left an indelible imprint and a huge influence which remains to this day. To celebrate that, I've just played a solo that incorporates no fewer than 8 licks, either lifted directly from Randy or influenced heavily by him. So let's dissect these one by one. And by the way, if you want to see the tab of these, just go to the link in the text below this video and that will take you to a place where you can get them. The first 2 licks are in A minor. The reason they're there is I used them as fills in the riff that was heavily influenced, or some might say shamelessly stolen from, the opening of I Don't Know. So let's look at those first. This is lick number 1. And again, a little slower. It's an open position in A natural minor. A natural minor, by the way, is just all the white notes on the piano. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And it's all played in the open position apart from the squeal at the 7th fret on the G string. Zakk Wylde influence? Yeah, just a tad, but let's not forget, Randy was really, really good at squeals as well. So, Randy influence too. The reason this lick sounds so cool is because it's syncopated. The reason being, after it moves from the B string to the G string, it does so on the upbeat, the and, as opposed to the usual downbeat. And that throws the ear off. So it's 6 notes on the B string, then 4, then 4, then 1. So it's downbeat, and then the remaining changes are all upbeat. So it's like this. So down, up, up, up. Makes sense? If it doesn't matter, it sounds cool. Lick 2 is based on something Randy does in the first chorus of Crazy Train, and also something he does after his solo in I Don't Know. Once again, it uses the A natural minor, but it throws in the flatted 5th from the blues scale. And this is what it sounds like. Here it is a little slower. When I played it as a fill low, I put 2 double stops at the start like this. A little slower. Now for the remaining 6, we're going to move to the key of E minor because that's where the main solo is. I go from A to E. Lick 3 is an extension of something that was heavily influenced by the start of Randy's classic solo in Crazy Train. It involves finger tapping. Unlike typical finger tapping though, Randy does 2 taps before doing a pull-off with his fret hand. Most tapping involves the tap followed by 2 extra notes. The first note, which comes when you pull the tapping finger off, and then another pull-off or hammer-on is done by the fretting finger. So it's normally a triplet kind of thing, like this, for example. See, the tap is every 3rd note. The way Randy does it, though, the tap is every 2nd note, and then he does a pull-off and hammer-on, so it's... I start it in the same way he does, and then I extend it up the neck like this. Here we go. What I do at the end is something I stole from Eddie. I do a tap and then I slide the finger down. The reason being twofold. Number 1, it sounds good. Number 2, it puts your pick back into a position ready to pick the next note. Lick 4 is heavily influenced by Randy's amazing solo in Flying High Again. I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. What I'm doing there is exactly what Randy did in his solo start, which is repeating a 4-note pattern. However, when I do it, I'm only picking the 1st and 4th note. I'm picking the note on the E string and the note on the G string. That's the 1st note and the 4th note. The 2nd and 3rd note, I'm playing the 2nd note with a hammer-on from nowhere and then pulling off to the next note. That just makes it more economical for me. So it's like this. As you can hopefully hear and see, I'm only picking the high E and the G strings. The two notes on the B string are coming from nowhere, like magic. The next thing Randy does in his solo is he does the descent using the E natural minor mixed with the E blues scale. And it sounds something like this, the way he does it. I do something slightly different. Firstly, I only descend as far as the G note at the 14th fret on the D string, and then I go back up again. And I also change the natural minor to the Dorian mode. The reason being for symmetry and simplicity. Let me explain that. When you use the Dorian mode, you've got the same pattern on the high E, B, and G strings, the same three-note pattern, 15, 14, 12. For an adult like me, that's a lot easier to play fast. So that's what I play. Here it is again, a little slower. I'm picking every note apart from the last two, where I do a hammer on and a pull off again. Part 3 is just 3 whole step bends at the 15th fret on the B string. Once again. If you want to know what beats they're on, it's 1, 2 and then 4. So 2 downbeats and an upbeat, with the upbeat being in the middle. So lick 5 is plundered from Randy's I Don't Know solo. I'm going to break it into 2 sections. The first part is an E minor blues scale run that's pretty fast. It's mainly 16th notes. Here's what it sounds like. Here it is a little slower. Then it goes to E natural minor with a really soulful half-step bend at the 14th fret on the high E string. Then he does a trill from the 14th to the 12th fret on the same string. So it's the bend, then a trill, and then he finishes at the 15th fret, the D note on the B string, and slides off. Here it is a hair slower. Lick 6 is also taken from I Don't Know, and it's a 4-note pattern that's descended chromatically. It starts in E natural minor and finishes in E natural minor, and it's not an accident. Let me explain it. I call this horizontal symmetry. Here's the 4-note pattern. That pattern is second finger to first finger on the B string, then third finger to first finger on the G string. So now what I want to do is try and find another exactly the same fingering pattern on those 2 strings elsewhere on the neck, but in the same scale. It's E natural minor, so it's so if we go all the way to the 12th position, we find this, which, hey presto, has the same fingering pattern in it. Check it out. So if I wanted, I could do an ascent, a chromatic ascent. I could just go. So you go from being in the scale to out of the scale, building up tension, then I've resolved nicely back in the scale. But if I descend, let's think about this. So this is at the 12th position. So exactly the same thing exists here. And it's exactly 8 frets. That's 2 bars if I play 16th notes. So that's what we do here. We palm mute it and just go. And there you have it. Like I said, horizontal symmetry. Takes you out of scale and back in again, and it sounds cool because it really does build tension, especially when you use it as smartly as Randy did in that particular solo. Lick 7, this is an open position E minor blues scale, and once again it's taken from Randy's solo in I Don't Know. In fact, it follows his descent, but he does it in G, so I'm just going to play the same exact lick in E as opposed to G. Here's what it sounds like. A little bit slower. And the great thing is it finishes on the open G note. And because my next move is to go all the way up to the 12th position, that gives me some breathing space to move. So I can do this. For the final lick, I wanted something that was 1 bar long and then finished on a bend. So what I did was basically take my Randy influence and try and compose something which sounded something along the lines he would do. So I mixed the natural minor with the blues scale, and this is what I came up with. And here it is, a little slower. And there you have it, my friends, 8 Randy-style licks. Hopefully you can add some to your repertoire, and maybe they might even inspire you to put your own twist on them. God bless Randy Rhoads for his timeless influence, and I'm going to get out of here by changing guitars and playing the same solo again.